Underdog Daily with the Badge Bros. I'm Jon. Nez is here hanging out, and we got two special guests today. Deposit Kingdom royalty round here. Some multi-sport draft leads, some football guide, some. If you've spent a minute in the Deposit Kingdom, you know both these two people hanging out behind the curtain there. But we got to throw some shout outs to the community, man, because everyone on this platform just keeps winning, except for us, Nez. Oh.
I almost won. Does that count for anything?
No, I'm kidding. I had a winning weekend as well. It's just we're seeing all these screenshots roll in from the Deposit Kingdom. I'm getting a little jealous, Nezzy.
Getting antsy. You know, we're a third of the way done with crowning Dawg Bowl qualifiers. I'm getting a little anxious. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't even think about that. We're a third of the way because it only goes to week 12. Holy smokes. We're running out of time. I got to get 100 in this week.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's time to step up.
All right, we got two players on the site with us. We're gonna start with our guy Magikarp here, but before we do so, Nez, I gotta run through all the screenshots and stuff we got tagged in over the weekend. They are still rolling in right now. Finding Value Fantasy took down his first BR. That's top stat NFT right there. What else we get tagged in here? Oh, one that we didn't get tagged in, Nez, but is truly one of the most impressive feats on the platform is our guy Chipsy doing the winner takes all thing again. He has won a winner takes all contest 3 times now. It's truly wild, man.
It's crazy. They really just need to start calling them chip checks every time.
Yeah, right. The chip check. WNBA King was back striking again in Lava Lord there. We got the GOAT Hop Grower who took down the Deposit Kingdom one there. Dusty up there as well. This is crazy. Here's Magikarp. This is what the Dawg Bowl leaderboard looked like. Shout out to Cowboys as well. We'll walk through these lineups. Magikarp's hanging out with us. Mathology is hanging out with us. Get to them in half a second there. The Pick'ems, Nez. Here you are right now. The Pick'ems were doing some fire as well.
Had a good Pick'em week. It definitely helped with the Dawg Bowl, swing and miss. But yeah, these are very helpful. Shout out to Gator for the promo that everybody had access to. It was a very fun oopsie on his end. So getting 10% back on most of these entries, I think. So that's a lot of fun. So it made. It's always nice. They do promos, and then I fire off way more than I normally would, and it usually works out. So I kind of, it's actually like kind of nice. I need to start putting my feet to the fire more often.
It clearly worked out here, Nez, because you got 4 pick'ems down. Love to see that. We talked about crowning achievements with Chipsy. How about crowning achievement with Copper Prices here coming in and scooping the Badge Bros Brawl for the second week in a row?
That's almost more impressive than Chip, I think.
Oh, yes, definitely. And a 1-2, man. A 1-2. Like, this wasn't just like a one-off love there, love lineup. He had 2 in there. John Carlisle taking one down here for 1,000. Love to see it. Our guy Dooley Data doing work. He almost did work on the Primetime Palooza as well, but almost having a 10K day there. Man, the winner's circle could have been up for so many people. Pete, so close to the winner's circle with a 9K score. Hot Sauce bested me in the he won the early slate and he won DeBomb, and it was first and second in the DeBomb. I thought I had him with a couple points from Travis Kelce there. It did not come to fruition, but man, just another crazy week for the Deposit Kingdom.
What else is new, man? What else is new? I mean, it's just what the people do. This is our platform, man.
Yeah, damn straight. Nezzy, let's induct our first member. Is going to be headed to Dallas here. Put him in the winner's circle. Are you in charge of the circle, or are you in charge of the entering him?
I'll throw him in there if you get the layout up.
All right, you tell me when.
All right, who you want? Which one you want first?
We're doing Magikarp first. We agreed upon it just because he showed up in the green room faster.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Count it down, dude.
What are you fucking talking about? Count me down or something.
I said you count it down.
You know what, John? Let me just allow me. There he is.
Yes.
Give us a little like
We got to get the celebration. Come on.
fist pump.
Give you the memes.
There it is.
Oh, there you
Lovely,
go.
lovely.
Screenshot equity all around. What's up, Magikarp? Welcome. We know and love you from the MLB streets, from the NBA streets. You're seemingly playing everything on the platform. So love to see you have some success and look forward to seeing you at the Dawg Bowl, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Don't forget how many finals I made for the PGA. You know, come on.
Oh, see, I'm the wrong PGA guy. So how many finals did you make for the PGA?
I think I have like 8 or 9 in the finals.
Oh,
this is a stupid number.
Well, which one was that? Was that the FedEx?
Yeah, the FedEx Cup.
Yeah. You almost
it was 8.
Yeah, swept the whole thing. Yeah, that was equally as impressive. He's stepping out into all these streets. Man, so were you just like channeling your inner me this week and getting to the field stuff, or what was your thought process coming into the week?
Oh yeah, so every week I listen to a few first look shows. They're all claiming to be the first look, including yours.
Of course.
And on one of them, there was a good nugget that I think is probably out of the bag, and we're gonna keep attacking it. I think week after week is that teams that play Indiana have more snaps than normal on offense, and so in Arthur Smith we trust, and wrote off Pittsburgh and all. I mean, I targeted all the Pittsburgh players. Pass catchers, running backs, running back and quarterback, and thought it was a good field smash week.
Nice, beautiful. Yeah,
indeed it was.
We're wrong about that. Let's walk it back for a second. Macro stuff. Have you been trying to do the Dawg Bowl every single week? Have you been max entering? What is your vibe? What's your approach?
Yeah, so I've entered every week this year. I think the first week I did 20, and then like 30, and I think this week I did 20. I've been doing 20 to 30 every week. I look at it like basically a hoop slate, getting it under $750 of entries. You can get 30 entries in. I've come close actually 2 other times. So this is my third sweat on this contest.
Wow.
Love it, man. So you said talking about attacking some of the Indianapolis stuff there. When you formulate a plan for the week, are you treating like every Dawg Bowl individually, like the draft? Are you treating it as its own entity, or do you kind of like formulate and walk out a plan for like, this is who I want exposure to for these 20 lineups?
I definitely think about like, especially the onesies that I want exposure for, because I feel like in a given week, you want to target a skill position like running back or wide receiver early. Like this week, I wanted to hammer 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds pretty much every time. And kind of just make it up as I go with wide receiver. And there were so many Q tag receivers that I would just make it up as I go. So I use our boy Easy's sheet as well to kind of show leverage. And obviously I have all projections available to me that I use.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Coach Jordan, giving us the projections. And so I use all the tools, and then I just notice things, listen to things that are people that are smarter than me. And I try to watch as many games as I can, but I 2 kids, a wife at home. I don't really watch a lot, so I just notice things in box scores and coach speak that I don't think a lot of people do.
Love it, dude. No, that's definitely a skill set right there.
For sure. So, about you, man, the name, obviously, Magikarp. Yeah. Can you give us a little bit of background on just because I know that comes from like a very detailed background of you of like your past ventures. So for as much as you're willing to indulge us, I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an all-encompassing me type of thing, and I think it just encompasses me. it kind of started back in college when I was playing a lot of Halo 3 with the boys, not going to school, getting my degree.
Yeah.
And we made these meme names, and like it would tell you that you were killed by Magikarp. So I'd be like, my name was Magikarp Splash. So you were killed by a
say you
Magikarp
splashed
Splash.
him. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I splashed him to death. So it started with a meme, and then it kind of grew in the sense that I became a professional Pokemon player.
Right.
Oh, wow.
In the video game streets, not the card game streets. I've played lots of card games. I played Yu-Gi-Oh competitively for a long time, just strategy games. So I'm very strategy minded in that sense. But and the Magikarp days from Halo kind of came through, but then it also I wanted that name to be there just to kind of always remind myself that you're just a little fish, you're just a little Magikarp, and you shouldn't underestimate your opponents, because honestly, in a game like Pokemon, there is a lot of RNG involved, and so you got to keep yourself humble, and you can't get too over yourself and too high on yourself. And so I try to use it as a moniker to myself, to try to keep myself humble, but also kind of like maybe make people think that I'm just a fish. I think that's
I like it.
I don't think that
Yeah.
latter portion is working out in your favor based on your 2023 and 2024 results.
Yeah.
But
I was about to say the cat's out of the bag on that one.
Yeah.
This is a really good question here, Nez, that we got to jump in with right here. Actually, there's two really good things in the chat right now. After you shouted out the easy stuff, promo code Magikarp for 0% off on the easy tools. But who was your OG Pokemon starter? So when you play competitively, like what are we talking? Like Pokemon Blue, Red, like way back in the day, or like how does competitive Pokemon work, and who was the OG starter for you?
So my very first starter ever was Bulbasaur,
Okay.
over 20 years ago. I don't know why. I think as a kid, I just liked Bulbasaur or whatever. Competitive Pokemon is actually, it still goes pretty heavily. They got really decent pricing and stuff. The grind for it is pretty excruciating, actually. But it's a lot of fun. It's basically 2-on-2 battles. In Pokemon, you have a team of 6, so you can create a team of 6, and then you bring 4 of them, and it's double battles, so 2 are out at a time. So there's a lot of strategy involved. You get to see the opponent's team before, and then you get to pick your 4 on your team based on that. It's best 2 out of 3. Okay. So there's a lot of mixing up strategy, changing up. It's kind of like akin to, like, you think of baseball, you think of like, okay, we're going to play a mind game here. As a pitcher, you're going to play a mind game. I'm going to keep throwing them inside to set them up outside, type of thing. And you can do that in Pokemon because you can like hide a move until the end that they didn't know that you had. That was a surprise. And so and you're doing that over a 3-game series, and then you might see that opponent again, maybe in like the top 8 and stuff like that. So it's a heavily strategic based game.
It sounds that way. Yeah, it sounds very, very cool. Everyone in the chat alluding, don't watch Nez's After Dark there, because when I left the show, he called it Pokemon at one point there. Oh, it was the toughest of scenes to listen to, Nez.
Yeah, man, he sounds like my mom. It's cool.
Jon is. I don't even know. Like we don't have enough time for me to address Jon's lies. Like he just comes out here, spouts fake news. We got to keep it rolling. That
one's a real one. I was listening when the fire alarm went up.
Unbelievable. I have respect for Pokemon. I went on a whole rant about how Bulbasaur was like.
You did. You torched the guy.
Yeah, it's like if you're choosing Bulbasaur in Gen 1, like, okay, cool. You need a shortcut for the first 2 gyms. Like, grow up.
Let's talk about the actual lineup itself here. How much Fields did you play? I think Fields was in the winning lineup for everyone for the Dawg Bowl this week, which is a rarity compared to how it'd been in the first couple weeks. There was a little bit of differentiality in the lineups there. But the Justin Fields one to the George Pickens stack there. You actually double stacked it up with Freiermuth as well. And then some of those early running backs. So kind of everything you alluded to coming together in this one.
Yeah, I was hammering as much Alvin Kamara as I could. The Q tag all week. And then he kind of flipped. I saw Nez had a team towards the top with the same Jordan Mason, Alvin Kamara, but it was literally flipped ADPs where he had Kamara first round, Mason second round, and just flipped. But I was just trying to scoop up as much Kamara as I could. I think I had a lot overall in the week. Actually, I had like 27% Kamara through the entire week. And for Fields over everything, I had 15% Fields, and not just the dog bowl, but in everything. And the main and the Wildcat is the two that I got to this week. I was hammering too many pennants to do more NFL. So,
how many pennants are we at?
I had 80. I
nice.
got to 80. I'd like to do more because there's such an edge to the contest, but that's all I had time for. But yeah, no, and then if it wasn't going to be a Fields team, this was definitely a Jordan Love team for me. So I was not going to sacrifice too many points. This was a little bit of a GM like ADP wise, like Justin Fields. I think I got in like the second to last round, and then Freiermuth was actually a pretty common tight end pick, and I think he was my last pick. If it wasn't going to be Freiermuth though, I was going to probably take Taysom anyway. So I was kind of all over that. As well as Love, Fields, and this was kind of like my target backstacks, especially with like Jaden Reed and then like some leverage Dobbs stuff and stuff like that. So
love it, man. All over it this week. Yeah, man, beautiful stuff. Great lineup. Congratulations again. Look forward to Dawg Bowl with you. What do you look forward to most about Dawg Bowl and like the experience ahead?
Yeah, so I was kind of telling my wife over lunch, or actually it was over dinner, that okay, we might be doing this because it wasn't done yet, and she's like, I don't understand what's going on, so I'm waiting for an email from I think Hope, and then we're gonna get some details of what's gonna be required of me, and maybe make a little trip out of it for the whole family, get the kids down there, get the wife, and maybe bring a babysitter along so we can just have some fun. But it'll be, I don't know, just a good time away especially for me, before tax season in December. So
love it, man. Respect the hell out of it. Hopefully you guys can make a nice trip out of it. I mean, it's so cool to just bring the community together in so many different ways like this. Like, yeah.
You guys' community is like top notch, man. Like being able, like, it's literally just iron sharpening iron out here. Like, so many people that will just like message you, and if you're kind and you reply, like they'll be willing to like share information you share. Like my process for a lot of things is bouncing it off of other people. Like, yes, I gotta shout out Brad W in the chat, like one of the OGs, man. He's like, we talk like every day, we know each other, we're friends. Like, it's like just even the boys in the chat, like you just talk, and it's just fun. It's just a good time.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's this crazy organic, like-minded community where there's like no toxicity, no hostility, and everyone's just willing to help one another. Yeah, there you go. Brad's always hanging out. There you go. Appreciate so much coming on, Magikarp. Anything you want to close on, say for the people? We don't want to leave Mathology waiting any longer.
Oh man, I look forward to meeting you guys, and I look forward to week 14. So
love it, dude. Well, best of luck, man. Keep getting those reps up. Are you gonna try for a second seat?
Probably.
Yes.
I gotta keep up with Sheep. He's already got 6 teams in that final, so I gotta get.
Wild.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best just to get the one in. All right, man. Appreciate you so much. Nez, who's counting this one down?
Just stay in your lane, brother. I got this one. Magikarp. Great talking to you, man. Nice to meet you, and I look forward to meeting you in person in Dallas. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see who's taller than us.
Ooh, nice. A height flex. I respect it.
I can tell you got some 6 feet to you. All right, so we'll see. Okay, Mathology time. Mathology, you ready?
He's ready.
Let's do it. Here we go. Yeah,
there it is. There. Oh, yes. Get them up. Let's go,
drinking it in. Let's go. Welcome.
Let's go.
There it is. Welcome. Hey, cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers.
Yes. Get them up. There it is. Anyone who's been around for a hot minute in the Deposit Kingdom knows who you are, Mathology. But for those who are viewers of our program who are not as familiar with some of the Pete stuff, how would you introduce yourself to those who don't reside in the Deposit Kingdom?
A horny fish that likes to just waste a lot of time on these apps, and once in a while I hit something. Once a year I get lucky. Once a year I get lucky, and yesterday was one of my lucky days.
Oh, I love it, dude. That's great. So what's your vibe here? We were just talking behind the paywall there that you like to do some of this showdown stuff, and that's what you were focusing on for today. But what's your vibe like just in general with the Underdog Sundays and stuff? How many contests do you try and get in? How many drafts do you get under your belt? How many did you do for the Dawg Bowl?
So mostly DFS on DK has been my main focus over the last couple of years. That's where my success has been. I did just max BBM just for fun, just to see, pretty much just like treat it like a 4K bet really, and see what happens. High exposures on certain players, but then I transitioned to DK, and then just following Pete along. I was like, so this year I was like, I'm going to play the Engage 8, just $40 a week. And then I'm like, you know what, I should play 1 or 2 in the Dawg Bowl and see what happens. So that's what I've been doing. And all I've been doing has been fields, double stacks since week 1. That was how I was going to play it. It's like at some point in time, that guy's going to smash.
Just like me.
Yeah.
Just like me.
So that's what I did. And I got lucky with the Nico, and no one was clicking worthy. So that was my scroll the F down. And that's how I got to where I'm at. Got lucky.
That's beautiful. So how many lineups you played fields every week? How many lineups were you putting in the Dawg Bowl there?
Oh, just 1 or 2. That was it. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I didn't think it was going to happen. I wasn't really paying attention to it, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people in this chat are going to either not believe me or what, but I was like, it was just more here's 25. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to play field doubles. Kind of, I know who's projected the most points because, following it through the DraftKings stuff. So I kind of knew who the best plays were. And I know I wanted Mason against the Pats because that's one area that I was going to kind of keep targeting because they're never going to move the ball. And it's a good spot for running backs to be in against the Pats moving forward. So
that's awesome. As you're talking through it, I'm just going to bring up the lineup here. There, as you alluded to, this was Justin Fields with the double stack as well, the Freiermuth and the Pickens there. Then you had Nico Collins, who I believe is the high-scoring wide receiver on the slate. Maybe Jaden Reed slightly bested him. And then Jordan Mason and Xavier Worthy as you scroll down, who had the big, long touchdown there. Beautifully constructed lineup here. When you go into these drafts, are you thinking like, hey, I want 3 wide receivers for the flex there? Were you thinking, or you just kind of play it by ear as it goes?
Yeah. I was trying to target running backs. I like where the running backs values were early, just looking at kind of ADP, just going in. I'm not going to lie. When I drafted these, I was a little definitely under the influence of alcohol. I was traveling for work and I was just kind of going off the cuff. It was 100% vibes based. There wasn't a whole lot of planning going into it. I want Fields, Freiermuth for sure. I thought that block, doesn't matter what week it was, that could hit. And the way the tight end is so bad this year, I thought for sure just got to be right 1 week. And then if you can get the other 4 right, you got a shot at, being in that top spot. So the way that the draft flew, I got pissed because I was like Nico, and I wanted what I played a lot DFS this week was Nico, Reed, and Aaron Jones a lot. Those were like my kind of core guys. So I was looking for like Nico and Reed, and I think Reed got snap picked. So then I was like, fuck, I scrolled the F down for Worthy way ahead of ADP. And then I took Freiermuth for my last. Because I was just like, I wanted that one guy that just has that cheat code, Worthy or Reed type that can get 30 points on 5 touches,
Yeah, that makes sense, man. I'm jealous, because I'm doing the same thing as you. I'm building Justin Fields teams. He's my top drafted QB every single week. Yeah. So definitely feeling a little FOMO that I miss out on the Justin Fields week. But man, if there's anybody love Magikarp, big family member of the show here, but like you're a legend, dude. You're a legend. I mean, like
I like to
like,
have fun, man. This is supposed to be fun, so let's have fun doing it and not take ourselves so serious doing it.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, you're just like your bits are classics and just hilarious. And I think many people are familiar with your game. So I think I speak for everyone when I say it was pretty awesome to see you get home here. So now that you've gotten here and you're Mr. 1 or 2, no pressure, are you thinking about doing a little bit more?
Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to still go after the Gauge 8. Hold on, sweetie. Sorry. Daughter's homesick.
Family man on top of it all.
Yeah, she was homesick today.
Oh,
juggling work. She's actually at work with me. You want to say hi? So yeah, I'm going to still go after the Gauge 8. I'm going to play that, and I might just single entry higher dollar amount and see if I can take one of those down.
Mm-hmm.
But nice. Dawg Bowl, I'm done. It's one and done. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to try to have the most fun. I'm going to hopefully have the most fun out of 108 people, how many.
Well, if John's there, you're in for it's a tough job. No one was having more fun than John last year. Let me tell you.
This is going to be an adventure. This is going to be is soak it all in and do as much fun networking, talking to people, having a good time. Hopefully make a decent lineup. Hopefully have a sweat in the afternoon. We'll see, but no expectations. Just go out and have some fun.
I love that so much. I mean, like it's so cool to just see like the dichotomy of player on this platform who can still have success, like equally sharp in your own right, you versus Magikarp, or we did one last week with Nick and Awin, and it's like some guys are doing 150 and they're auto drafting. Some guys are coming up with a couple plans beforehand and just doing 1 or 2 bullets. And to see both of you guys have success on the same weekends, it kind of gives everybody hope, and it gives like a nice counterbalance to the people that exist playing here.
Yeah, no, it's true. It really is. It's where the community is so strong, and you just get great takes and game theory and proper roster construction for the week. It's definitely fun to be a part of, and I'm glad I had mutual respect back and forth with everybody. It's been a fun experience.
Absolutely. You said you got densely exploitative with some of your BBM stuff there when you were maxing. How's the BBM portfolio doing? Don't worry, the FBI will not come after you. This is our show, not Pete's.
Not bad. I mean, I was high on Field, so he's been carrying some teams along. I thought he was going to flip Russ pretty quick. But it was mostly all Chiefs, all Detroit Lions. I just put all my big bets into the best teams that score the most touchdowns. I kind of hit it from a macro approach. The Steelers were that one kind of team where we didn't know. Other than that, though, I had like 30% worthy. Let's see who else I'm high on. I got like so much Devontae Foreman too. So
okay.
Not quite looking like I thought it was going to turn out because that O-line's not playing well. But I like Cleveland running game. I didn't think Chubb was ever going to really come back. So I was hoping he was going to flip Florida or get a lot of goal line work. But Cleveland stinks. So that was not working out. But a lot of Chiefs, a lot of Bills. I put a lot of my investment into the best teams, high-scoring teams that I thought going into the season.
Novel concept, picking the best players.
It's a lost art, man. It's a lost art.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I see that phone call.
Yeah. Sorry. I see a lot of people dig into the weeds so much, and part of what I try to do is bring people out a little bit, just step back a little bit. People message me all the time. They might see and I honestly think it's just you get so caught into this versus that, or like a player take this, that, and it's like we're all just trying. So just kind of zoom out a little bit and like, how is that team going to actually try to move the ball that game? And that's how I've been doing it in DFS this year, and definitely in these kind of weekly. There's scoring is way down, touchdowns are down, passing volume's way down. So just kind of game by game, pick like 1 or 2 games and just invest in that. If those games go off, you're going to be profitable.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, really simplifying the approach there. I'd ask you, are you a big ball watcher? Like you seem to be like a I know ball guy with like these baked in takes here. Do you watch a lot of ball?
I try to. It's really hard. September, October, the weather's just so nice, and especially, family guy. So we're pretty busy. But I do sub the 1 week season. I think JM and their write-ups really are very directionally accurate of how these games are going to get played out. So I definitely support them, and I do spend a lot of time on their website.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, good shout out to 1 week season. We are big JM fans ourselves. Used to do the stuff with Hilo on a weekly basis here. Yeah, so very
Hilo's
good.
really good about defensive breakdowns, the schemes they're playing. Like he got me on Nico this week. He really was high on Nico going into this week about the press man coverage and what he does against cover 4 and man coverage. So that was something that I wanted to attack.
Love it. Mathology, my friend, I think we're going to move on, do a little bit of the primetime Palooza stuff for our viewership here, but any parting words for the people?
No, good luck. Stay within your bankroll. Be smart.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's smart stuff. Really look forward to you bringing the fun to the Dawg Bowl, my friend. Pleasure to meet you. And
thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. Congrats.
Thanks, guys.
Legend of the Deposit Kingdom community. Absolutely. Nez, before we jump to the primetime Palooza, I think we got to hit a couple things here. First one being we got some gifted membies out in the chat here.
Yes.
And they come from a big winner in his own right on the platform. This is the second week in which Josh has had a nice win on the platform there. I think is this Wildcat? I wasn't in the Wildcat. It's either the Wildcat or the $10 one.
Unless he tied, he must have.
He chopped it. Yeah, he chopped it.
Yeah, that was the Wildcat then. I think it's like I see Josh all the time in the streets, and I'm glad that he's here and a member now. I think it's impossible to see his name in your lobby and not say it out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
Every time I see his name, I go, Joshua. Every time I have to say it to myself. It's like, it's honestly, I can't not do it. So it's just awesome. So I'm psyched that he's here because he was like one of the few people that I would see all the time. And I'm like, man, I don't think he's like in the Discord or anything. And he's not. But like actually got to see him on Twitter, which was cool. So shout out Josh. He's having a good season as well.
Yeah, having a great season, and always shouting out Easy for the usage of the sheet there. Magikarp did as well. So guys, check out easydfs.xyz. We are users as well. But big shouts to Josh there. He joins up, becomes a member, and in doing so, gifts out 5 to the community. Love to see that. Thank you, Paul, for joining up, and good to see you, Dale. Love the community coming together. This is the Wildcat. So it was the Wildcat indeed. There you go. Happy to be here. Josh, likewise, bro. Happy to have you. We got to get you in the winner's circle here. You got to get this number up, a couple extra bucks there.
Almost, man.
Okay, Nez, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We got to do it. You teased it on Off and On the Clock on Friday there, man. You teased it to the people. Can you go ahead, reset it for everyone, and tell the people what we're going to do here?
Yeah, we're really milking the hell out of this pregnancy, but it's worth it because it's my wife deserves to do whatever she wants on this journey because she's a trooper. She's going strong. So yeah, my wife is pregnant, and today on her feed on her podcast, Hey Bria Jones, we did the gender reveal. So I've been doing podcasts with her. We revealed the gender on there, and I would like to do a Badge Bros version of gender reveal on the show for everybody right now.
I love this. This idea kind of stemmed from Pete on Off and On the Clock over on Friday there. This I think this will be the first time. I don't think this is bold to say, Nez. This is the first time in the history of ever that the Platform of the People have celebrated the induction of another people to planet Earth with a gender reveal on said platform.
I would put that at like a 0.01x multiplier in the Pick'em lobby. That this is the first time anybody's ever done this. Yes.
All right, let's get him out in the chat here. Clay's got a good idea. He's taking bets going on here. Get your boys, get your girls out in the platform. In the chat here, you guys going boys
I've just
or
put up a
girls?
Poll. I just put up a poll for the YouTube chat. You can't really see it here, But yeah, we've got boy or girl getting voted on in the chat. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna toggle between QB and tight end back and forth, and then once we stop, then that'll be the determining factor of what's happening here. So
Okay.
shall we?
Okay, we got so we got blue for boy, we got purple for girl. You do your thing, Nez.
All right, we're gonna shuffle it up. What do we got? Hold on, let me check the chat here. It's dead heat. Can you believe this?
Okay,
50-50 right now. All right, what's it gonna be? Boom.
Oh, Nez Daniel is having a boy. Love to see it.
Little baby grinder coming soon. 2025.
The tight end wasteland gets another.
My wife doesn't know that we're naming the baby Justin Fields, but she'll find out soon.
Justin Fields, Nathaniel. There you go. Some big shouts in the chat. Everybody sending some love. Future badge, bro. Yeah, we might have another one to come on the show here. Yeah, in doing so, we got to send some love to our guy Hayden. I'm glad he said it on show there. We knew behind the scenes there because he was planning a trip up north or whatever. They were going to do like a Vancouver and do like a West Coast of Canada thing. So I'd been chatting with him before our show, and then he dropped the hammer that but we haven't told people yet. So I'm known for a little bit on that one. So much respect. We're gonna have 2 new dads in the Badge Bros community there. So big shouts to Hayden and big shouts to you, Nez.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We're super excited. So yeah, 2025, baby Nez on the way. We're pumped, man. We're pumped.
What's the actual due date? What's Bria's due date?
It's like it's March. Yeah, March. So like late March, early April type deal.
March Madness begins.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right around the time of opening day. So those dinger drafts might be, not the last hurrah, but it's definitely going to feel like the end of some type of era, shit changes when you got kids.
Let's all make a pact as a community that we will not be accusatory towards Nez when he fails to push the plane in the dinger drafts and he is milking all of the clock. We can just assume that he is at the hospital and or driving to the hospital, and that's the only logical reason in which he is milking the dinger clocks in early March there.
I do think that's fair. I do think that's more than fair.
Oh man, big respects. Nez, I'll bring back up the platform here for a second. I want to walk through some other stuff there. We got to give a shout out to Cowboys. I know Cowboys is part of the community as well. Got the Brian Robinson team there. Hit the nuts at the wide receiver position there with the Jaden Reed, Nico Collins, Mike Evans. Brian Robinson does enough to get him home there. And then the Fields to Freiermuth stack. So the Fields was there. Pour one out for directionally accurate Dave yet again, man. Feel for him. That is his second fourth place finish so far. But we got some other names up here, man. Drap, who's already got a seat, was chilling up there. Mike's been close a couple times there. Dale been close. Sacrilegious, Kiwi Cat, another member. Chris G, my guy. We got to bring this one up. This is the sickest of sick Deposit Kingdom ones. He effectively hits the nuts with every single player, and then the Kyle Pitts goose egg, dude.
That's so brutal.
Oh,
that is like unbelievable. That is truly unbelievable that Kyle Pitts gives you a flat 0. And John, it's not even like this game was boring or low scoring. It was a good game. It was a good high scoring game, and Kyle Pitts gives you nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what's really funny, man? Coach Morris, he's going viral right now for his comments about like not caring about stats. And like the Kyle Pitts believers are just in shambles that like, oh, another coach, it's Arthur Smith 2.0. Like, guys, I think Kyle Pitts sucks.
Oh, it pains me. It pains me. I mean, we cited the stat all week about the last time he had 3 catches in a ball game. Even though he was close to a touchdown. there. That game was very strange. I'm glad we got the pick 'em entry. Shout out to everybody who joined up and played that one from Friday's show, because we hit a nice 20xer for a game environment play for this one. The Taysom Hill first quarter touchdown got home too, which I found hilarious there. But the Falcons scored 26 points. Nez, not one single offensive touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah, wild game. Wild game. Yeah, just a muffed punt one by Rashid Shaheed there.
Yep.
There was a touchdown called back for Bijan Robinson, which I could have used
Fucking
in
awesome.
a couple spots there. But yeah, that was a sick game to be that high scoring and not have like all that much fantasy goodness come out of it outside of Kamara and Hill, basically.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where we gotta like definitely. I mean, a lot of people already have, but we got to temper these expectations for the Falcons moving forward. I think the Saints are a good offense, or a good defense rather. But yeah, this is pretty problematic.
Yeah. Sack up here a couple times. Lava Lord up here as well. Our guy Lee Chad going for a second seat up there. Man, it was just a who's of the deposit.
You just
kingdom.
missed me, man. I'm at 20, man.
I can't go that far, dude. The mouse doesn't. Oh, there we go. You and Best Ball Viper hanging out. Like to see it. Let's see this one. You had yourself a little Jordan Love, Jaden Reed. Oh, Garrett Wilson just doing nothing for us. This Tucker Craft one was pretty sharp, dude. That's nice.
Yeah. I had a lot of Addison, so if only my Garrett Wilson had been Jordan Addison, man, I'd have my time in the sun. But you can't win them all.
Yeah. Amax saying that Bijan one ships him to bomb.
Oof.
Oh, you hate to see it. Yeah. Shout out to Hot Sauce, the bomb here with 2 up there. You and I were real close there. Amax saying that he gets the Bijan one. He gets there. I was hoping for the Kelsey one when they were down at the goal line at the end there, but these Jordan Love ones get home. Oh, I had the Bijan out too. So hold your horses there, Amac. Hold your horses.
He had you boxed out, bud.
Oh my God, he might have. Oh, Jordan Mason got home at the end. Yeah. Oh, okay. So how about, yeah, he had me boxed out. Yeah, EDN 3 there. Brandon there hanging out. Nez, any other ones we want to hit on? I want to hit on, obviously, the main one here. Shout out to Nate's Feed the Freezer. Up in the rafters, his jersey up in the rafters, comes out of retirement for 3rd place. I saw him doing work in one of the other contests too last week. I think it was one of the baseball ones. But Nate's, I know he's part of the fantasy pounders community there. So shout out to the Dog Pound. Yeah, just basically the nuts, man. This was tight end again. Didn't crazy matter because like they didn't really separate. You just needed that 12 points and not the goose egg. But Jordan Mason plus Alvin Kamara plus Nico Collins was the first 3 rounds that you needed. And then a little scroll the F down skinny stack to go alongside George Kittle at ADP. This is the recipe, man. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Love and Jaden Reed were
there's Nate hanging out
on average undrafted. So that was, that was certainly what you needed, and you get a ton of leverage whenever you're competing against nobody else with that. So, or very few teams, I should say.
I wish I could have flipped the majority of my Caleb DJ Moore stuff back to Love Reed stuff. My best lineups were Love Reed stuff that I got on, but I did a lot of funky stuff. With the Love Reed stuff. I guess this is my high scoring lineup for the week. Directionally accurate. It had Justin Jefferson on the bring back, and then I had a lot of Kyron, Mason, that sort of thing. So 51st for me was my highest scoring in there, and a couple top 100 ones. But shout out to Pete. Pete had 2 lineups in the top 10 there, doing the same thing. The Jordan Love, you had the Aaron Jones on the bring back there. If he can swap those points out for anybody else, he would have been flirting with our guy Nate's.
Yeah, Nate's in the chat here. It looks like giving us a little thank you. So that's what's up, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. But yeah, man, Pete doing his annual, double shipper like he always does, right? Once a year, Pete's got to have 2 lineups flirting with first. And these are part of his gems. So, you gotta love that when the process gets home for our boy.
Love it, dude. MagikarP saying that he had one in 32nd in the main as well. So all over it. Oh, there we go. See our guy Paul in 10th place as well.
Nice.
Just rejoined up to become a member. So big shout out to you there. Yeah, man, it's Mookie, another Deposit Kingdom guy. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. If you're finding success on this platform, you're hanging out and you're talking to the sharp people in this Discord. Nez, let's go back to the Primetime Palooza. Today's going to be a little bit shorter of a show. We got a loaded week ahead for you guys. We got 2 shows tomorrow. We're going to do the definitive week 4 NFL preview. I imagine we might hit the prime time. Actually, we'll probably save the Primetime Palooza stuff for Thursday and do like a members only on that one. But we got loaded shows tomorrow. We're going to do DJ Mitchell and Matt Moody are going to be here to do the Best Puck Classic. I got all the tiles up already there. So we're going to do our usual 2 p.m. slot for football tomorrow, and then a 5:30 p.m. Eastern for the puck guys. And then Mike Zakarian's going to join us on Wednesday at 2 p.m. and we are going to do some double dribble stuff. So we are going full multi-sport draft league this week. Yeah, and then Thursday we'll do Primetime Palooza behind the paywall, and then on Friday we will do Off and On the Clock at 2:30 with Pete over Zed. So we're going to have all sorts of stuff going down there. And GA's alluding to, there's a little bit of puck overlay alert. So you guys are going to want to get in on that one. Watch the shows and stuff like that. Actually, Basketball Viper asking baseball dailies for the playoffs. Not tomorrow. Maybe we can hit it at the tail end. I actually just kind of like glossed over that in my mind because we had so many things to do and so many sports to cover. But yeah, start of the postseason, we definitely are going to have to do some of those. Did the pennant lock already, Nez?
Yeah, it filled.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we already got that 2-gamer up for tomorrow. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe we'll mix that in as well, Basketball Viper. All right, I gotta give this a little reset here. Nez, let's talk Primetime Palooza tonight. We got ourselves another 2-game NFL Monday night slate. It looks pretty fun. I mean, I don't know. I was enamored with the 3-game slate there. Have you been in the streets? Have you been racking up some of these drafts? What are you about?
Yeah, I got 33 in so far. Kind of an interesting slate because we have the Seattle Detroit matchup, which is just like always fireworks. It seems like every time that these two meet up, but I think there's a chance that this one maybe goes a little more quiet than how they've gone in the past, but we'll see. I mean, right now by the numbers, Seattle's the best defense in football, but that's what happens when you face the teams that they face, which is the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Skylar Thompsons. So really can't take too much away from that. Like, remember when the Patriots were a pass funnel, John? Do you remember that? And then Jordan Mason put up 23 points?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. The god fucking awful New England Patriots are a pass funnel. Right. Sure thing, bud. So that'll be interesting, man, because I think that is kind of being very much factored in to this slate when it comes to the way that these players are taken, because I think one of the most fun things about these contests is that there's no ADP. So you just kind of have to figure out what people are, prioritizing, on your own with reps, keeping an eye on who's in your lobbies, and, coming up with your own specific ranks here. And I mean, it jumps off the page that Seattle and the Lions game is the game to target. It's like a 10-point discrepancy between the two totals, but I think people are sleeping on my boy Snoop Huntley, dude.
Yeah, Snoop's a very interesting conversation because we could joke as much about him being a Pro Bowler. What was that? 2022 Pro Bowler?
I think so, yeah.
Snoop. Yeah, we could joke about that sort of stuff. He does introduce a little bit of variance. The way I've been thinking about Snoop, and I wanna know if you agree with this, is that playing him naked or as a skinny stack is optimal. Playing him as like a onslaught guy is not. So I think the Titans are the best run defense on the slate, which like makes me like a little less inclined to be like out over my skis on Miami rushing stuff, but like Achane can break it off against anyone. I don't know, man. Like, I just think of like Huntley as like the way he gets home, the way he matters on this slate, the way he gets like the 19 points that you need isn't the other game environment failing. It's the fact that he matches score because he does his Jacoby Brissett impersonation of like one touchdown on the ground kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue maybe the Lions. The Lions are a great run defense as well, but like at that
True.
point, it's splitting hairs, and this total's low as shit, anyways. But
Mhm.
I think that Snoop always has outs because of like Waddle and Jonnu and Tyreek. Funny burying the lead there with Tyreek, but these guys are yak monsters and Achan as well. So like, if one
Right.
of these guys take like a 5 air yard pass to the house, I mean, Snoop gets points for that. So
Yeah.
I don't think that it's going to be necessarily the range of outcomes that maybe people are thinking of.
Okay.
That's the thing with these Miami Dolphins, man. I mean, maybe I'm wish casting it a little bit, but I think that they can still have explosive plays even without Tua at quarterback. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, kind of strongly prefer Huntley to Will Levis, but I still have some Will Levis teams, but I would much prefer Huntley over Levis on this slate.
Yes, I agree with you there. Just to bring some visualization stuff to you, the Fantasy Labs stuff here. The Titans and Miami total right now has dropped to like 19 and a bit and 17 and a bit on those sides. And then the other ones dropped like a point as well. But, I think that's just landscape of NFL stuff, not necessarily representative of anything that's happened. Seattle missing a couple O-line pieces by the looks of it. I will double check. They've been ruled out or not in half a second here. I haven't done more than, I think I've done 10 of these. I did a lot of yesterdays for the 3-game like double night one, and that's how I'm gonna have my exposure tonight, just because I had a busy day ahead of me here. It's a low-key holiday in Canada today, Nez. But
What's the occasion?
I have no idea. It's like some holiday that it's called Truth and Reconciliation Day, and they made it up in BC like 2 years ago.
I love it, man. You need to reconcile. Find something to reconcile with, man, and speak your truth.
That's what we're doing. We're reconciling about my fucking lineups every Monday, and me crying about Taysom Hill not me crying about Taysom Hill not playing the second half of the ball game because he would have broken all the slates. Anyways, fuck. I lost my complete train of thought once we started talking about that. Yes, but I'm in lockstep with you with the Huntley stuff. He is the wild card of the 4 quarterbacks. My mind thinks this is a Geno game. My mind thinks this is an air attack game for Seattle. I've been attacking the Seattle pass game stuff. That was kind of like my approach to the slate. Tyreek's price is like the cheapest we've ever seen it ever. Jalen Waddle is like a last rounder in this sort of stuff. So if you want to attack the Miami stuff, it's the most palatable price tag we've had in a long time. So that was kind of just like my macro. What else you got macro wise?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I really like the Seattle passing attack. And I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to put myself in a position where I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to have a good game, but you're looking at 37.5 receiving yards for Waddle in the Pick 'em lobby. Jonnu 15.5 receiving yards in the Pick 'em lobby, and let's Tyreek 53.5. So like, these are not good numbers, but
no, yeah.
Achan pushing 100 scrimmage yards for his high or lower. I just want to take the upside swing on these Dolphins, and I think that the Titans, man, I really struggle seeing the Titans having a solid game here. So it's like very much like first things first, Seattle, Detroit, like you said, and Meatwad in the chat. Shout out Meatwad. Seattle banged up on defense, and the Niners, I just think, or the Niners, the Lions I think have just got off to a bit of a slow start, like slower than I would have imagined them getting off to offensively. I think they're due for a bit of an explosion. And I mean, like I said, historically, these matchups go way over every time that they meet. So strong priority towards Seattle passing game, like double stacking Seattle, very much on the table for me often. And I would go Geno QB1 as well.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Like I'm looking at the passing splits, like as you alluded to, like the Detroit is a good run defense. They've been a little bit of a pass funnel that thus far. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you. That was a good one.
That was a heavy one. But yeah, alluding to those, they might be missing Baker as well tonight. But yeah, I mean we're like I'm new me out here. But like Seattle's gonna be missing their first round pick in Byron Murphy, like defensive tackle. They're gonna be missing Leonard Williams, another pass rush guy there. Like it's their ability to get off after the quarterback is going to be hampered this evening. And then they did lose a little bit of O-line play last week, but by the looks of it, some of it's coming back. Anyways, it just sets up so much better in my mind for like air attack pass funnel back and forth. And the Lions and Seattle played that like 37-31 game last year.
Thinking a repeat?
I don't know. Like I just think it's just like these teams haven't changed that much. And then when you just go ahead and you look at like total offense per game thus far for both the Lions and Seattle, they're in the top 5. You can poke holes in like whom they've played, but like doing that instead of like aping into the Miami stuff just feels better to me. And I'd been taking DK Metcalf over Tyreek Hill last night.
Same.
Yeah,
definitely. I do think Amon-Ra is a pretty clear-cut 101 tonight. Yeah. And then after that, man, it's kind of wide open. But like I have an affinity for Jahmyr Gibbs, so I'll probably end up having a ton of him.
Okay. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is always like he's I don't want to say the poor man's version of Devin Achane because like it kind of feels that way right now, where it's like he's going to have less carries and less targets than Achane has been getting in recent memory. And at the beginning of the season, we thought that would be flipped between these two, like I'm just so scared of like the best goal line usage being like DeMont. I was doing a lot of scrolling. I was prioritizing wide receiver on the previous slate outside of Derrick Henry. I had a lot of Derrick Henry moving in tonight, which feels good. But I was prioritizing the wide receiver stuff and then doing like just like a one-off with the running back stuff and, some Tony redacted or taking advantage of like, even though the Ken Walker matchup is tough, the fact that you can get Ken Walker like in the 4th round or Sharps in the 4th round, I was doing that sort of thing. What do you think like the optimal board setup and like some of like those GM kind of combos will be?
It kind of really depends on how many of these people are in your rooms that are going to follow the order of projections. Like there will probably be a room where it goes Amon-Ra, Achane, Goff, Geno. I think if we see an Amon-Ra DK team, I wouldn't be surprised. But that would be like a pretty strong GM. I doubt we will see Amon-Ra Achane, but you might.
Yeah.
I do think that Amon-Ra and Gibbs or Montgomery will probably exist, but outside of Amon-Ra and Achane, man, I mean, I'd say so. What you do always see is like Amon-Ra, Achane, Metcalf, Gibbs, Montgomery in some order as like the top 5. That is like almost always the top 5 that I'm noticing. And then after that, it's really wide open. And the biggest question mark I think on this slate is like, are you drafting Laporta or not?
Yeah, the tight end decision is the big separator because it's also leverage off of like Amon-Ra. So if you wanted to get like a concentrated stance on Laporta, you're basically saying like you're taking it away from Amon-Ra, right?
I think that makes sense, but like
Yeah.
we also just saw Lamar, Justice Hill, and Derrick Henry ship
Yep.
the primetime Palooza last night, so nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Eat Arby's. Heard it here first. When I was walking through some of the projection stuff on some of the sites, I was not alarmed or like caught off guard that like how closely basically every single piece is projecting to one another, like fractions of points different. Like there isn't as stark a drop off at like any position necessarily. Like Geno is the highest projected quarterback on ETR right now, but like fractions of a point and a point and a fraction below are like Goff then Huntley, you know? So I really struggle to like find ways to get different than the field on this slate because like the scroll like stuff is like Jake Bobo and I mean I guess Sharbs is probably like your best scroll where like Walker doesn't just return to 90% of the backfield and Sharbs did enough. But like I'm really struggling with like paths in my mind to find like good intelligent back end scrolls. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I worry about the Sharp stuff because
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Walker's back and the Detroit front is extremely solid. So that the Sharp, like I've been doing Spears over Sharps. I have a lot of Tajay Spears, so that's been like my preference.
Okay.
Um,
And what
and
and is that run back stuff? Is that them playing game environment? Is that a usage split that you've seen? Why Tajay?
I think Tajay's good.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and I mean the usage just hasn't really been there yet, but um if they end up trailing, which I kind of expect them to, then I think that's bullish for Tajay.
Mm-hmm.
Um I like him as a player, man. And they've been talking about trying to get him more work in the coach speak stuff. So uh when I'm in the 6th round and he's there, you know, very, very frequently, I take him. I mean, it's usually between like him or like Tyler Boyd and sometimes Sharbs and the Q tag Mostert, who Mostert's not even going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, might not matter, but I like Tajay, man. I think he's going to have some good games coming up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, like you can paint a narrative with him where he's like pass catching, trailing script too, as well. Like it kind of checks out. You
Sure.
just said Mostert's not going to play. You're locked in on that. He had 3 LPs this week. You don't think Mostert plays?
They put out there's a news tweet that said that he's not expected to play. So
Okay.
I am buying that.
Okay, sounds good. It looks like the projection has dissipated on the site. Has it? He had a Q tag last night. Yeah. Okay, cool, man. Let's go. I mean, we kind of did quarterback already. I'm Geno over Goff right now.
Mhm.
The Goff stacks are really, really easy. I think Crutches just said it in the chat here that like the Amon-Ra plus Laporta stuff is like so easy to just keep pairing together, just in terms of like the way the boards fall and stuff like that. So doing it with the Goff stuff, I think that will be kind of like a heavily utilized pattern, much like Lamar plus Henry plus one of the tight ends was last night. So like a lot of people have like dead Lamar Henry lineups because they just took the goose egg on Andrews or whatever. So just thinking through the way like things line up right now, I do think that's like kind of one of the most common ones. And then the Geno kind of like drafters push him up to pair with Metcalf. So doing some backstack like JSN Geno Sharbs or something like that with your Geno teams, or like Fant and Sharbs, or like stuff like this would be like just like contrarian paths. Anything else you would think through with the combos for Goff and Smith?
No, I'm gonna try to stack them with their best pass catchers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. The Huntley stuff we already kind of talked about, how I think playing him naked is a little bit smarter, but then you proposed the counterpoint of these yak gods on his team, which you cannot deny. So treating Huntley a little bit more as like a distributor, I might have to be working that in a little bit more. And then Will Levis is just kind of at the bottom of the basement for us there. If you're stuck with him, you're stuck with him, or are you prioritizing not to be stuck with him?
I am if I'm in the 5th round
Uh-huh.
and there's 2 QBs left, I'm taking Huntley.
Yeah.
I think that he's got a much better outlook than Will Levis, and I fully acknowledge that, like, I am way more confident on his upper end of results than like what what the field is and what the average median outcome is for him in this game. I just think he's a much better quarterback than Skylar Thompson. And we've
Yeah.
seen him operate in a high efficient environment in Baltimore before, trusting the coach and Mike McDaniels. Like, I'm willing to take a chance on, like, hey, what if Mike McDaniels can scheme up Huntley in a way that's like really strong for fantasy? His projection right now is 13 fantasy points in the Pick'em lobby, which, not fantastic, but it's like I said, I think he still has that range of outcomes where it can far exceed that.
He kind of gives me Joshua Dobbs of last year vibes, where it was just like you could just bring him in, give him a week's notice, and he gives you a chance, kind of thing.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him as much as Dobbs, but I mean, that's
Right.
just sort of what I'm getting at here. He projects for 0.6 fantasy points more than Levis. Definitely not what's
Right,
factoring
yeah.
into me taking him over Levis, but like, hey man, if he's already coming in here with and projecting more than Levis, it's kind of crazy. Plus he has the rushing upside as well. His projection for rushing is 30.5 rushing yards with 7.5 rushing attempts. Pretty solid for a QB on this
Yeah.
slate.
Yeah, that's a good shout on the rushing attempts upside of it, like especially if you're just running him as a tack on quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about the running back position real quick here. You alluded to liking the Gibbs stuff. You see both projections on the site quite high between these two with Detroit. I think they have a plus matchup on the ground tonight. Just based on the injuries at the linebacker and D tackle and DN for Seattle there. But Seattle's been a little bit more of a pass funnel, but they've played nobody, so it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, I would just say that. Are you ranking it as such here, or are you pulling anybody else up?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really like Gibbs, but I think you have to take Achane over Gibbs. You're gonna end up with like 66% Gibbs if you don't. So
Yeah.
it's definitely in this order for me, but I would not fault anybody for thinking that they should be taking Montgomery over Gibbs. I mean, it's kind of 50-50 on who's going to score more points, but I
Mhm.
just think Gibbs has the higher ceiling. But what does it matter if half the time he's outscoring Gibbs anyways? So, you can kind of like pick and choose your battles there. And if you want to get overweight Montgomery and you're confident that the Lions are going to win this game, you totally can do that and make that
Yeah.
your stance on this slate. And just like stick it to the people who refuse to think that Montgomery should ever go behind Gibbs, because you're not even sacrificing that much as far as ADP goes, or draft capital, however you want to phrase it, because Montgomery and Gibbs so often go within like one pick of one another that, like, if you want to make that your call, you're not like seeding super teams because
Mhm.
Montgomery so often goes early in drafts. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I respect it. Yeah. Jump Free saying in the chat that Montgomery has higher ceiling projection than Gibbs. I think that's just like baking in the touchdown potential stuff there. But like Gibbs was on a lot of buy models this week just because of like the efficiency and the projection. The stuff has been so solid for the first couple games. It's just he hasn't really found the end zone in the capacity in which Montgomery does. So if it does funnel in his way, like some of these kind of like 15s, 14s, 16s can turn into 23s and win slates for you there. But as you can see, like he scored on the ground every single game. Like, I don't know, it's that Jamal Williams now is actually good. David Montgomery role was no joke the last year and a half. Tony Redacted is up here. I've been taking Ken Walker despite the matchup over Tony Redacted. I could see it both ways, but I imagine you're kind of in lockstep with me because you like the Taji stuff. So you've kind of been doing the same.
Not
Oh,
really.
You
Not
like
really.
Udaki?
No, I just I like Pollard more than
Okay.
Ken Walker today, to be honest.
All right.
Walker coming off the injury with Charbs like holding his own, definitely kind of worry about the snap share there. Spears is just like a 6-round take, right? When I'm in the 6th round, Spears is just who I like the most.
Got it.
When it comes to Pollard versus Walker, though, I think Pollard probably has a better chance of, having a, larger workload. 11.35 for Walker in the Pick'em lobby. That's his fantasy point projection. 10.25 for Ken Walker for his fantasy point projection. And I mean, say what you will about that number, about those two numbers respectively. I think that's a big deal. Three points of projection is in my opinion a pretty big deal. So and that's I think that's just like a feather in the cap of thinking that Pollard should be taken over Ken Walker.
Okay, sounds good. Sharps you kind of alluded to as like you could pair them or you can leave them down there. You could do some contrarian stuff by pairing the 2 Seattle running backs together, but I don't think they necessarily have the same ceiling as like pairing the 2 Baltimore guys together from last night there. But Sharps, has he done enough to keep some form of workload here? That's kind of like the evergreen bet. I think so. I don't think you go and back to seeing like these 90% of snaps like we saw with Ken Walker out for like just for Ken Walker to then be in that Sharps role. I don't think that's a thing. True, scroll the F down. Guys here in Jalen Wright and Jeff Wilson with Mostert most likely being out here. Both played about 20% of the snaps. Jalen Wright gives you a little bit of home run hitter upside who could just break one off if they get down to the goal line and it's been a long drive and Achan's been out there for a good portion of it. Maybe you could see a little vulture from Jeff Wilson, but anything you're willing to click, Nez?
No, I kind of draw the line at Spears and Sharps, and no Jalen Wright or Jeff Wilson for me, to be honest. I just haven't really seen enough from those guys, and you have the Huntley rushing stuff as well,
That's
potentially vulturing them. So
yeah,
I'd rather do like Tyler, like if I'm 1v1ing, I'd rather do like Tyler Boyd over those 2 guys who's always available in the last round.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get to the Tyler Boyd stuff, but the HN, his snap share has just gone up over the last 3 weeks or whatever. He ended up with 74% of snaps last week against Seattle. And then they have Jeff Wilson at 23 and Jalen Wright at 21. But you factor in that, Snoop might end up with Tyler Huntley might end up with 5 to 9 carries, maybe 11 on the high side at like in a trailing script where they're playing a little bit of like sagged off defense. Like then he starts opening up a little bit. That those are rushing attempts that get usurped from the back end running backs. So that's a good shout in general there. Okay, I'll go ahead and bring up the wide receivers. You were talking about Boyd there. We talked about the top of draft boards. I think we're both DK over Tyreek, but nobody breaks a slate quite like Tyreek can, and the yak potential is in a big way. But do you agree with the ranking of the first 3 here?
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Now I think it's a very interesting question where you go next, because you could tell a story that Tennessee only has one real WR1, and that's Calvin Ridley right now. And, DeAndre Hopkins had a nice little game last week, and he got targeted on some of the limited routes that he ran, but he has yet to play over 40 whatever percent of snaps. Calvin Ridley had a monster game 2 weeks ago there. Jameson Williams, you could play game environment play there, and we have seen what we thought was a huge rule change, and then it kind of took a step back last week. And then very same narrative with JSN could be said there. But I think this next kind of 3 is a tier in its own right, and then we could kind of talk about the rest. Do you agree with the stuff I am spitting, Nez?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty flat, but I think the order for me, don't really have a problem with the way that it's set up right now on the Dawg app, but I'd go JSN, JMO. And then from here, it becomes a little bit trickier with this next trio with Ridley, Lockett, and Waddle. Like, I can't ever 100% of the time take Ridley over Lockett.
Right.
I just think the floor is so much lower for Ridley and Hopkins, as opposed to Lockett, who's going to be running a ton of routes. And, like, we're going to see a big Lockett game soon. People have just completely forgotten about Tyler Lockett because of the emergence of JSN and the way that these game scripts have gone for Seattle. Why not tonight? If the Lions are pushing the pace against against Seattle, they're going to be taking shots. I know you and I both have a lot of respect for Geno Smith. There's a big Lockett game this season coming, and man, why not tonight?
I really wish it was last week to get me a nice little Dawg Bowl seat there, but I will take it tonight.
That was rough. I hate that you even had to like acknowledge that you had a sweat because man, that was brutal.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. I think it's kind of playing whack-a-mole, but I think that's kind of fun with the primetime Palooza slates. Is it gives you outs if you miss on a tier, and we don't always have outs in like the tail rounds on these slates. So yeah, giving yourself outs at backdoor Geno stacks and stuff like that with like Tyler Lockett and Fant or something like that is something I like. I have been taking Ridley over him, and it's because I've been prioritizing DK here, so I didn't want to like hedge against myself, or at least that's what I was doing last night there. So I actually had it with like Waddle there and then Lockett there, just because Waddle's played more snaps than Tyreek, and Waddle does have that yak ability as well. But yeah, that's just kind of what I had done from a ranking standpoint. I think you could make a case, man, if you think trailing script, Titans, DeAndre Hopkins, slowly coming back from the injury, works himself into a higher snap percentage, that he is in this conversation as well. But Tyler Boyd has worked over him like every single game. It becomes some very interesting discussion down here. Like Treylon Burks has ran more routes this season than DeAndre Hopkins. So yeah, very interesting decisions at the back end of wide receiver here. And I think this is where the big money gets won on this slate. Nez, who do you like of this kind of like last grouping?
Oh man, I am kind of like gravitating towards that DeAndre Hopkins box score and wanting to tack him on, but I've been doing mostly like two running back teams. Sorry, not tight ends, two running back teams. Yeah, good shouts with like Hopkins versus Boyd. I mean, the one thing I will note is like Boyd's routes went down week 3, but Hopkins did remain the same. But like everybody's routes went down in week 3, kind of strange. I'm definitely like anticipating a larger DeAndre Hopkins role this week. But okay, where do I take him? Right here, like yeah. I'm not pushing him up.
I'm not pushing him. Yeah,
because I don't think I have to. But yeah, he's definitely an option for me. And then I think my end of my player pool is Tyler Boyd.
Okay,
not messing around with any of these other guys. But
yeah, I mean, like Tim Patrick saw a little bit of uptick last week, and kind of looks like he's taking over that role from Khalif Raymond. So maybe there's a little something there. Like Khalif Raymond went from 61% of snaps in week 1, and Tim Patrick like didn't play. It was like right after the trade and all that sort of stuff. And then he was gone down to 36% and then down to 7%. And Tim Patrick's gone up from 39 to 50. So it does kind of look like there's a flippening there. So definitely. I am a little enamored with a Tim Patrick potential, red zone target here or there. I believe he had one last week as well. I might be making that up. I made it up. Yep, I made it up. Yeah,
maybe it was close. Maybe it was close.
Maybe it was from like the 23-yard line.
But you do make a good point, right? I mean, like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that Tim Patrick is running, more routes than Khalif Raymond. So if that's the angle you want to play, by all means, go ahead. But I'm not going to get there, but fully acknowledge that Tim Patrick might be emerging slightly. I think maybe the role that we've seen is as large as it gets, but there is a chance that it grows even further.
I like it. The last one, the Jake Bobo stuff. I mean, like Treylon Burks, if you think DeAndre Hopkins is like getting back to full health and is going to run, those are going to kind of like flip one another, in my opinion. So like, I'm not going to play any Treylon. Even when Treylon plays, he doesn't fucking do anything ever. So I'm just kind of like out on that one. The last one I would say is Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo was kind of like a darling last year, scored a couple touchdowns here and there. They used him in some like really tilting fashions for people that were like Metcalf fantasy drafters and stuff like that, where like randomly like Jake Bobo would just be out there in like a single wide receiver set in the red zone playing the X. And it was like, what the fuck are we doing? But I think this new coaching staff has smartened up a little bit more, but he is still playing like 30% of snaps week over week there, but it's in like a pure rotational replacement setting opposed to like having a package for Jake Bobo. So I don't know. I wouldn't rule out the possibility that he could do like a one-off touchdown, like Nelson Aguilar style, where it's just like, yeah, he plays 30% of snaps, but he has one touchdown. But yeah, I think the player pool should end at Tim Patrick.
Yes, that's
right.
that's where I stand, and he's not. He's on the outside looking good for me, but I totally respect giving him respect.
Okay, Nez, this is probably the hardest decision point on the slate. Is what are we doing with Laporta? Are we buying into the usage over the first 3 games that like JMO has kind of like usurped some of that, and his skill set and overlap with Amon-Ra St. Brown is too stark for both of them to eat? So now we're left with a guy who's just a middling mid-tier tight end who is basically the same as all the other ones, where we need 3 catches and a touchdown for him to break a slate? Or do we think he's the alpha dog that we saw last year, where he could command 11, 12 targets in this game against a Seattle team that is missing linebackers? Can he break a slate still? Can he be the tight end 1 that people drafted him in BBM to be?
I mean, it doesn't look good, right?
No.
You have his game logs thus far. I think the full participation in practice is like it is throwing a wrench in things for me, because
Okay.
I mean, he was hobbled, got hurt, and then it looked like he could barely walk, and now he's participating fully in practice. I mean, this is a guy that we thought was out for the entire playoffs last year, came back,
yeah,
played, saved Dan Campbell's dignity by doing that, because I was so dumb that he was in that game to begin
that he was
with.
playing it all. Yeah,
So stupid.
yeah.
So this is interesting, man. I think when you look at the tight ends on this slate, it's hard not to like tell yourself that Sam Laporta should not be a priority, right? If you just like, who cares what the other tight ends have done? They're not Sam Laporta. They're not the Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta versus all these other players. I mean, the median projection, right, is probably like a matter of like 5 points. But like we talk about, is that enough to matter? And on a 2-game slate, it might, like, I don't think it's so easy to write off like tight end 1, no matter what it is, actually being what you need. And we're looking at a 7 fantasy point projection for Sam Laporta. That's per the Pick'em lobby. Noah Fant does not have one, but if I were to ballpark it, it is 4. So for what you have to give to get Sam Laporta the draft capital it takes, I'm not gonna have 0, but like,
Right.
for all intents and purposes, like, I'm out. I'm out. Like, I'm not drafting Sam Laporta at the 2-3 turn. I'm sorry. I am not, but I won't have 0. But I am out.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have a good answer for you. Like I was not prioritizing last night's slate because I was comfortable clicking some of the back end options because it was Likely and Andrews that were the back end options. On this slate, when I'm looking at like Chig, who might be in a whack-a-mole like committee right now, with Josh Wiley and they use Nick Vanette as well. I don't know. I look at Jonnu Smith and like, Nick's hyping him up in the chat right now. It's like Jonnu Smith's not even running the most routes like on his own team at the tight end position. Like, it's kind of alarming, right? Like it just feels like this should be a 2nd round player on this slate because of how big he could stand out. But now I'm like, I don't know, man.
It's just, I mean, the projection is 7 points,
Right.
all you know
Yeah.
what, that's equivalent to like one of these dust ass tight ends falling in the end zone for 20 yards.
Right.
You know, and then at
Yeah.
that point, it's a joke. It's a
Yeah.
joke. I think there's a lot of different ways to play tight end.
Okay.
You know, shout out Easy. He was like the first one to even like let me know who Julian Hill is. But
Yeah.
hey man, we saw Julian Hill in primetime get some targets.
Mhm.
And I guarantee I have more Julian Hill than anybody else on the slate with like 3 shares.
Yeah.
So when I'm drafting Snoop Huntley and my last pick is tight end, like fuck it. Like I'll take a Julian Hill. Like who gives a shit? I'm also doing Wiley over Chig.
Okay.
0 Brock Wright. I feel like that was like I mean, I don't know for certain, but I'm almost certain that it was a product of the Laporta being off the field when Brock Wright got his usage.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I kind of dig the idea of Julian Hill. I'm looking at like the splits at the tight end stuff right now. Like Johnny Smith had 7 targets in week 2, but then only had 3 last week with the quarterback change stuff. Durham Smythe had 2, but we know from years past that he's 100% of routes and barely ever gets targeted. Julian Hill's got 5 on the season, 1, 2, 2. They used a Tanner Connor late in that ball game as well. There ended up with 2 targets as well. It's just, man, this is like,
What are we doing?
what are we doing is right. We're just scraping and clawing at the bottom of the barrel here. Chig scored a touchdown. Was it last week or the week before? That was week 1. It was a lifetime ago. It doesn't count anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, Dooley saying that Brock Wright is for sure a part of the offense. Yeah, I do see that. I do agree with that. It does also have like the highest implied team total there.
In what way?
5 targets last week, but it was after Laporta was injured.
1 target on the season before that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in the 6th round though, and I see Laporta, Fan, or Jonnu, like they are my first pick. But if I see Chig, I'm like avoiding Chig because I think he's the default pick for people that are locked out at tight end.
Sure. Yeah. That checks out.
Just as likely to put up a 0 as these other dust balls. Very funny
Right.
comment from Easy that's saying, I think knowing who Julian Hill is probably costs you more money than it makes you. That's just very funny.
That is very funny. Let's fucking go Mets. What's going on in the Mets game?
They came back. They were down. Holy shit. They're up 6-3 now. Good Lord. What an all-time collapse from the Braves.
Wow. It was Schwellenbach was pitching the first one. I did see that they had, I really hope the Braves win and then they don't have to throw Sale in the second game because they're going to throw Sale for their season, right? And it's just, let's hop in the primetime Palooza here, Nez.
Let's do it.
This thing is filling rapidly. I believe it's smaller tonight, 12.5K to first. I think there was a little bit of stuff going on this morning with notifications and things being weird with notifications and needing to get the pennant filled and all this sort of stuff that so the football slate is on like primetime Palooza. It's going to be on primetime Palooza 2 soon, and we're on hurry up 3 or something already with that one. But I think there was a little bit of fear in putting contests out when there was basically an external notification problem that was outside of their control.
I mean, to be very fair, this was put out before that issue was taking
good
place.
Point. Yeah, fair enough.
You know, just a lesson learned that people love to play the Paloozas whenever they can put their money down and get it back in the same night.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, we'll get another one. I hope it's very similar. You know, like I love the optionality of, you know, doing different types of prize pools and whatnot. If we get a Monday Night Football Palooza 2, I would love for it to be, you know, our typical 10% to first structure, you know, 10% of first to 10th type of deal, and just let us continue to fire away. People love the 2-game stuff. I love the 2-game stuff. And yeah, I'd love to keep firing at it today.
Sounds good. We got a friends and family draft here with Chris, Andrew, and Jordan all in here, Nez. This feels like a Gibbs pick, but if you want to do the flippening of the Demont stuff
let's do Metcalf and take and just like let Jordan pick our RB1 for us.
Okay. You don't think he'll just pair the 2 Detroit guys together?
He's on auto, so he might.
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend that, but
yeah, we saw Get Home last night with the Ravens stuff, and these two are far more comparable, I think, or at
I'm
least I
gonna
thought
bite
going
my
into last
tongue
night.
on that one, buddy.
Do you like to do the Tyreek Hill and then punt running back now?
Yeah, I think Hill or Pollard here.
Yeah, I will not take Tony Pollard one time over Tyreek Hill this entire draft. But so if that's how I sink my ship, that's how this ship will be sunk, Nezzy.
Yeah, Pollard projects for more points than Tyreek, but I think we all know Tyreek has a pretty lofty ceiling.
Yeah, and the projections are knowing ball, and the projections and the sims are in my head, Nez, and my model is slightly different.
I do think that like you do have to kind of weigh out median versus like ceiling, a way more than just like doing it binary. I think there's people that are like one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to consider both, because sure, the ceiling is higher, but like how often is player X outscoring player Y, over a 10,000 slate sample, and that also has some merit.
I would propose JSN and setting up a Geno double here. I don't know. Jordan probably doesn't have quarterback if he's autoing pushed up that high in his rankings. So
I bet he's gonna. I think we should take JSN. I feel confident he's gonna take a quarterback here, but I want to go JSN.
You think he's gonna take Geno over Goff?
I'm not sure.
Yep. These fucking robots. All right. Probably feels like a Huntley team then. Do we get ahead of it now and make them fight over Jared Goff?
I think so, unless you're worried about like Spears, or like if you have a choice of Spears or Charbs, or we can just kind of let them decide for us.
Yeah, I don't really care between Spears and Charbs, and I would actually go scrolling on a team like this. Just because I think
why, I guess.
Because I think this team, like, was this a $10 contest or $5 contest today? This team's worth $10 contest. This team's worth $2 right now. Let's make it worth $1.50 with some ceiling.
Let's have some fun. Sure.
So
the scroll for you would be.
Well, it depends. What do you want to do here? Like, Spears feels like a fine pick as the run back here. We should pick
Jonnu like 1,000%. This should be Jonnu for us.
Okay, you like Jonnu more than like a scroll for like Hill or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I'm not taking the Julian Hill thing. Is if I'm boxed out and like I need a Hail Mary fuck it play. I'm not doing Hill over Jonnu.
You don't like the Hill correlation, the Tyreek.
It's fun,
plus
isn't
Julian?
It's definitely fun. Makes for a nightmare when you're Control F searching your teams in the live tab. So yeah, go ahead. Talk me through this.
It has to be Spears on this team, just given like the construct of it. But I feel like this is a pattern that will be replicated a decent amount here. But yeah, you just play the passing. I don't think you can score enough points without Geno to have Sharps and DK and JSN. So I think you just have to bring in like some variants of a run back potential. Like we're painting a game script where Miami's scoring points, right?
Yeah, I would say that if Charbs was like the correct answer there, and like we also got a good score from Huntley, like we're gonna have a really fun night as far as the viewer goes. Like we're gonna it's probably fireworks in both games, but probably a little too thin to do Charbs there.
Okay, let's rip another one of those. Is that primetime one still there?
It's a Monday Night Football Palooza.
Yeah, but the $25 one.
Oh, the dive.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at the structure of this and how it.
That boy came and went. No, it's back. We got a third dive up.
Oh, okay. There you
go. Let's see here. Is this? Yeah, it's 6-3 now. Still bottom of the 8th. I think it's Jover for the Braves.
Miles asking if you like Sharps or Ridley tonight. I kind of fall in the Ridley camp there just because I don't know what the Sharps split's gonna look like. But what do you like?
Sharps versus Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
Ridley.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do I have to get my head checked? What do I do now?
I think that was in the middle of your never Tony take. But
not never Tony, but like I'm never taking Tony over Tyreek Hill on this slate.
Yeah.
Like ever. Yeah, so this week comes the question. We were talking about this, Charles asking, we could talk a little baseball. Do you rest the Met starters in the second game? Like I would 100% because like the rest is way more important before the cross-country travel. Like you have nothing to play for. You're already locked in. And then like the competitive person in you is like, oh, but you can knock out a division rival and you can blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it doesn't fucking matter. The health and welfare of your team matters more. So the new school analytic bros, would say rest, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they're even like they forfeit games all the time. I don't know why they're not forfeiting that one.
Do you want to do David Montgomery and DK Metcalf here?
This is what I've been doing. Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by forfeit games? What do you mean?
I mean, like the Guardians aren't playing game 162. You know why?
Because Arizona can still get in.
Oh, they need a sweep. That's right.
Yeah. So if anyone sweeps, Arizona can still get in. You have to play both.
That's fun. I forgot about that.
But both teams want to split. So it's like they could have just like met before the game and shook hands and like, all right, we'll rest game 1, you rest game 2.
That's so stupid.
It's very strange, but there's no way you can control it, right? But this, what the implications of this is if the Braves don't win right now, is that Chris Sale is going to pitch the second game here. There were murmurs that it was going to be Charlie Morton, and he was in line to start today, but they went Schwellenbach in the first one, I believe, and then now they're going to go Chris Sale in the second one. But if the Braves win and the game doesn't matter, Sale will be held over and he'll pitch the other game, right? So we'll lose his start in the pennant.
Wow.
And yeah, and every single Braves team started their secondary stack with Sale. Yeah. Classic,
wow,
man. Yeah. That's why I was.
Well, I didn't draft any Braves, so good luck with that.
All right, we get a little bit of a different board break here. Another friends and family draft. We started with David Montgomery and DK Metcalf. Geno Smith feels like the click for me, and then JMO and or Calvin Ridley. But what do you like?
Yeah, I like Geno.
I do like Seattle passing attack tonight. All these teams are starting to look so similar, though. I don't know how you differentiate in an intelligent way. Who do you like?
I think JMO here.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but like, if you're jumping in these drafts trying to build the most unique team possible, I think you're doing it wrong.
If you're playing 5 to 10 entries, no. If you're trying to build a portfolio and do 150, yes. Like this team is like, yeah, it's going to be duped like every single draft with every red badge combo. Because it's just the chalk start, and then you tack on Geno, and then you tack on, like, this is just how every single board breaks.
Yeah, or you can like take Snoop at the 5-6.
Yeah, that's how you differentiate.
But like, you know, you don't have to get too cute.
Yeah. No, you don't have to get like crazy cute and sacrifice like 7 points of projection.
Yeah, like I'm always going to be in favor of on these slates, just getting the best team possible and letting the cards fall where they may.
This feels like a Noah Fant stack. We could go full game stack here and take Sharps, or you can pull Spears from the other game environment, or you could add on a different wide receiver. But I would vote Sharps
Definitely
and Fant?
fans. Definitely fans.
Yep.
I'm Team Spears, but we can do Sharps here if you wanna mix it up.
Yeah, I see no benefit to like trying to pluck off like the 16 points from the other game environment when you have 5 from this game environment where it's just like this whole game goes burr. Like if you need like a 5-1 with the 1 being Sharps from the other side, there's probably going to be a better iteration of that. Or with Spears from the other side, there's probably going to be a better iteration of that. So why not just ape the whole game environment? I think this is like a hand build thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that thought. Especially since this game is it looks much better on paper.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, let's rip one last one and then call it there, Nez. I got a day planned here. We are gonna be having some fun.
Back on the yacht.
Maybe. Oh man. I will share some GMs in the future here, but we had ourselves an absolute day on Saturday. It's a buddy of mine. Very fortunate to have a buddy who has 100-foot yacht.
You just let him borrow it, right?
Yeah. It's got its own crew and stuff. It was crazy.
I've been firing off some pickles for tonight, man.
Let's do a pick 'em. Let's do a pick 'em.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know how much time you had. I know you've got your day packed, but man, I'm jamming. I'm the Gator special lives on through tonight. So
okay.
I can't help it. I'm a sucker for value and a good sale. And this 10% back. Can't wait. Can't wait to receive it.
Yeah, let's take advantage of that one. So you got some stuff lined up that you already like right now?
Yeah, I've got like 6 like 25ers, just a quick quarter.
Sounds good.
But and some 30. I do have like a big boy. I do have a very, very big boy that I did put out there. So
okay, well let's replicate something with pieces of that, or let me replicate it first so everybody can see it. I'll drop the link in the chat, and then let's do one other one for us. The chat is informing us that Atlanta has runners on in the bottom of the 8th, and now it is 6-4 with runners on the corner. So man, the implications for the pennant are huge right now. Sam Wilson shared his exposures of like team combos, and he had 0 Mets. So I found that interesting. Yeah, we're getting the exact same start over and over again. We got Chris, we got Dale in here who are friends and family. I think we just do it a little different this time, Nez, and we do Tyreek plus David Montgomery.
Yeah. Let's try this one.
Yeah.
No reason why Tyreek can't outscore DK, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it gives us like an out at a Snoop. There it is in the 5th round here. So we'll see here.
That's right.
Yeah, Cody's asking, very interested to see if Snoop is good with McDaniel's system. Yeah, likewise. I mean, let's see if the Pro Bowler can Pro Bowl it up.
Dude, he's a baller. I mean, he's got to be better than Skylar Thompson, right? I mean, like Skylar Thompson.
The coach.
I've never seen worse awareness. I think on the football field.
The back-to-back plays to close the first half last week for Skylar Thompson were some of the worst football I'd ever seen in my life. They rushed 3, and he still got sacked from behind. Mm-hmm. And then they had and it was a free play, so he could just do whatever he wanted, and he still got sacked. And then the following was an untimed down that he just had a shot at the end zone, and he threw short of the sticks, like 20 yards downfield. Like it was just like he had a free shot to just air it. Like even if you're in that situation, just show the world that your arm is kind of fucking strong. Like like
that's embarrassing.
Oh, dude, I don't know. AMAC coming in here who almost took down to bomb there and saying that Josh Wale is the skeleton key this evening.
Ooh,
I like it. I can't argue with tight end being a wasteland and just punting off with one of those 0 balls at the bottom being like the big differentiator. Should we push Huntley here or should we take Huntley here? I think is the question. And I think
we should push.
Okay.
So I would go Waymo.
So you think Waymo's a tier break here? As kind of we alluded to with the rankings there. We'll put Waymo on here. These are the ceiling shots Waymo, and Tyreek. Nice little leverage off of some of the other Lions pieces. What would you take next, Nez?
So this is tough. I guess Ridley, or you could do Waddle and just like try to hope that we get it. I think Ridley gives us outs for if we end up having to get stuck with Levis.
Okay.
And projects better than Waddle, but you definitely could, dare Dale to take Huntley with a Waddle pick, but Chris is daring Dale to take Geno. He's setting up the Geno double and doesn't think Dale will do that. That's
Bold
ballsy.
strat. I like it. I respect it. We just had a flippening in the Braves game. It's 7-6,
Yes.
bottom of the 8. Electric Eddie Diaz doing his finest here. Ozzy Albies double by the looks of it.
He's having a hell of a game.
Ozzy Albies is?
Oh yeah. He had a home run earlier.
Woo! Love it. Oh man. I haven't looked at my final exposures yet because the pennant was filling right as we finished here. I did get more in than I usually do, probably a career high for me in terms of pennant drafts in my life. I think it was. We can take a look here. I think it's pretty close to 50 there, maybe not quite. All right, so we set ourselves up with the push of the Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley becomes the quarterback with Tyreek Hill here. And then I ask you the question, do you want to double stack him up with Jonnu Smith, or should we start scrolling here?
I would take Jonnu, but this is your $10.
All right, it's my $10. We're taking Julian Hill. He finds his way into the end zone. Let's fucking go. Alpha play. Julian Hill. John never scrolls GA. John scrolls all the damn time.
You had to do that.
We got to scroll for the brand there, or else the team will look like everybody else's team. For the audio listeners, Tyler Huntley, David Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Waymo, Williams, Calvin Ridley, and then the skeleton key, Julian Hill. Nez, let's check out the Pick'em lobby real quick, get ourselves a little sweat for the evening here, and then be on our merry way.
Yeah, so I can give you the
please do, yeah.
I can't call it a lock. But it's the super fun sweat here. It's across both games here, and it starts with Jared Goff higher 33 passing attempts.
Okay.
I think
trailing script, pass funnel.
Trailing script and/or just like a very fun back and forth game that I could totally see being a shootout. So we'll go 33 passing attempts for my boy Goff. Tajay Spears, higher 11.5 receiving yards. Stewed against Green Bay, 4 catches, 54 yards. Some burst, man. He's a good player. Like I feel like people just don't respect him based on the vibe that I'm getting from the chat and everything. But like Tajay Spears has some juice, man. And it's up to 12.5 now. So
Nez CLV, wow.
This is what I like. And then to top this off, let's go Devon Achane for his scrimmage yards.
Okay.
In this one against Tennessee. Devon Achane, good player, and let's just like use this from the perspective of Snoop Huntley is in there, and while we are very excited for our boy Snoop, they're probably going to lean on Achane very, very heavily. So let's just play Achane,
Okay. I like it. That's a fun one there. I would say with the Goff passing attempt stuff that I would like some Seattle stuff from a correlation standpoint that pushes the reason he's throwing 33 times. But we put these 3 together there and let's have a fun.
Yeah, you can still tell yourself that without having to need it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Crutch is saying you can also push the slider there to the 19.5. I love Tajay Spears stuff. Yeah, so
I love doing that.
Yeah, just a reminder that we can't do it on desktop, but on mobile, if you guys follow that link right there, and then you kind of give that little jack up to Spears, get a nice little percentage boost as well. But there's a good little 6 Xer, and then Nez, what was the other one that some of the other stuff that caught your eye that we could build out?
I did some. I was doing some adjustments.
Okay.
Like Crutches was saying, where doing either Montgomery or Gibbs to score twice. I think is a lot of fun.
Okay.
And we have also 2x on Waddle to score. I think that's just like a fun way to get some extra multipliers
Okay.
on these games. So I think that might be a good starting point for a spice.
Okay, so we can Waddle spice it up. We're getting a 2.1. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to say that as far as like playing pick'ems goes, and if you are conscious of like getting bang for your buck, so to speak, doing these higher multipliers is a good way to do that.
Mhm.
They grade out pretty well in the hashtag Nez model.
I respect it, dude. 7.45 and only 3.5 receptions for Ridley tonight. I guess they think he gets a little bit of that Ramsey treatment. All these numbers look pretty low relative to the projection in the draft lobbies and his ADP in the draft lobbies. Wow, those ones are kind of alarming here. Easy saying he likes the targets one. I like that idea. And then
Yeah, I would spice that up to like 5.5 receptions, even, and just like,
sure,
but
yeah,
obviously, I mean, that's just a suggestion. But I'm just saying, I do like the targets.
yeah.
That's obviously an endorsement for that.
Cool. Yeah, we could do some of that stuff on mobile and then share it after the fact. For simplicity's sake, right now, I want to build this one on the comp. So we got those two. And then Ken Walker. Where's Ken Walker at? Chat's suggesting some Ken Walker stuff. Let's see what else you like, Nez.
Let's check out our boy Snoop, man. We've been talking about him all show. What kind of stuff can we do with Snoop? Let's look at his rushing yards, shall we?
I just added that Ken Walker 2.5 rush or receiving first downs. That feels pretty good that we just saw that in the chat. Oh, I just put in Snoop and naturally it didn't come up.
Yeah, they don't got the Hollywood for Huntley like they do for Marquise Brown.
Yeah. If I'm gonna play Snoop, Nez, and we're not gonna be able to utilize the multiplier here, I would like to do it through the fantasy points.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they won't let us pair it with the spicy touchdown.
Oh no, we definitely can't.
Yeah. Okay. I think in a vacuum, like playing Snoop through the fantasy points feels best.
A lot of outs with
Yeah.
fantasy points for sure.
Let's do the rushing attempts.
A little bit of spice on there.
The Waddle.
What's it at? 6.5?
7.5. Gino 263 passing yards.
That feels pretty fair, but I do think that game's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does feel like on the higher end of the spectrum. What do you like here from Snoop?
I like the rushing yards. I mean,
okay,
he has the ability and the propensity to run on the ground.
Right.
Just a different way to play this out, right? I mean, we're doing a completely different entry from the first one here. 4 picks, 21x. Why not?
Yeah, I like it, dude. That is a Communtiy / Nez's brain one. I like it. Feels like a fun way to get a little extra.
Yeah, and you're getting 10% back on all these, man. So it's basically 45 to win 1050. It's basically like a 10% multiplier, or not a multiplier, but 10% discount.
Oh man, it sounds like the Mets are going off. It sounds like something fun just
8-7.
happened. 8-7 Mets?
Correct.
Oh my god, we're missing a ball game.
Yeah, we gotta sign off. You gotta get to your yacht. I gotta get to the Palooza lobbies and sit in front of this game.
Yeah, this is playoff baseball. This is why, man, we need the sweats. This is why I told everyone last night, you got to be drafting the pennant because these baseball sweats, man, they're unlike anything else. Sergio saying Sanders 1.5 extra points higher. That would correlate nicely with some of the Huntley stuff as well. Yeah, some good ones here. Crutch is saying you can get up to the Laporta 2 touchdowns, 15.5x. I mean, like that's your long shot, but that's like a pretty good price for a long shot like that. Cool. Very good stuff. Very fun show. Nez, I will remind everybody, do me a favor, hit the like, the subscribe, the notification bell, all that fun stuff. We still got 230 of us hanging out here. So much respect to you guys for being here. Big shouts to Mathology and MNF and all those other people we listed at the top who won this weekend, but in particular, those Dawg Bowl seat winners. Cowboys got one as well. And then, the chip check. And Nate for taking down, aka Nate's for taking down the BR stuff there. Just a fun weekend for the Deposit Kingdom. Much respect to you guys.
Appreciate you guys, man. The Kingdom just crushing, dude. It's evergreen. It's honestly kind of wild.
Yeah, it is kind of wild. We'll be back tomorrow. 2 shows. This normal time slot will be the football, the definitive week 4-5 already. Holy shit. NFL week 5 preview, walk through the stuff that's up in the lobby. I think there's going to be a slight amendment to the lobbies this week. I think the contests are going to be more staggered than they were in the past there. Instead of having a big dump of all the contests at the front end, I think we're going to get like a little staggering. We'll get the main BR and that sort of stuff up early, but then I think there's going to kind of be like a stagger. So just be aware of that in terms of your bankroll management and looking through the lobbies. Anything else to say, Nez?
I will see you in the lobbies. And yeah, we do have we got a ton of contests up right now. So not sure what will be staggered, but I mean, the full menu, it seems like we've got a 90% of the menu up. So
okay.
let's get it.
Beautiful. All right. We will see you guys tomorrow on behalf of myself and Nez and baby boy Nez coming in the future, the first ever underdog gender reveal. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Much love. Enjoy the baseball games. Everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.